Alright guys, let's dive into circulatory system. First of all, we'll start by talking about functions of the circulatory system. So as we are looking at circulatory system, the most element or the most part that we discuss about is about blood. So we're looking about blood, and we have some other components of the blood which we'll talk later on. But first of all, let us just discuss about the functions of the circulatory system. And mind you, this question can come in the form of an essay if it happens that it has appeared during your exams. The first function of the circulatory system, we have transportation of oxygen. So oxygen is essential in the body, so it requires a good system of transport in the body to reach the body cells and wherever it is useful. That's oxygen. Then we have transportation of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is removed from the cells out of the body. And then we have transport of soluble foods. So we're looking at nutrients and other things. So after digestion, blood substances, food substances are carried to cell body where they are used. Vitamin zotero. Then we have transportation of hormones. So hormones are transported from the glands to places in the body where they work. Hormones zinthu tiyena timene timapezeka mthupi lathu. In short, tilingati tima impulses, tima messages tomwe timathandizira kunena kuti zinthu zina zake kapena timapanga regulate kuti thupi lathu liziyenda bwino. Mwachisanzo kuli hormone ngati we have antidiuretic hormone, tiliso ndi hormone like testosterone, progesterone, hormone like insulin, hormone amakhonera kuti amakhala ndi malo amene amagwira ntchito. Pali mahormone ena amapangisa kuti mwina chinthu chokuzizimusa chikabwera iwe munthu uzizimuke chonchi. Pali mahormone ena amathandizira kuti madzi mthupi akhalemo okwanira, ena ndali production. So things like those. So my hormones, they are also transported by the blood. We also have transportation of heat. So the system ensures that the heat is transferred from organs such as liver to the rest of the body. Mukagwira thupi lanu mupeza kuti likutentha. Likutentha chifukwa chani? Foti magazi akamapanga sikireti amakadusa kuliva kuja liver imatentha kwambiri, then amayendanso kutentha magazi aja. Defense against infections. Magazi mwathu makhala ma white blood cells amene ntchito yawo is to fight against these different diseases. Then we have structure of the heart. So you can look at it very closely. This is internal structure, by the way. So pamene popo mukayang'anitsitsa tili mwambamo tili ndi things like aorta, left atrium, pulmonary vein, bicuspid valve, semilunar valves, septum ndi pakatikati kama gawo mbali yawo kuni mbali yawo. Then we have left ventricle, right ventricle. Then we have this side now. We have tricuspid valve, right atrium, inferior vena cava, pulmonary artery, and superior vena cava. These are some of the parts of the heart. So this is the internal structure of the heart. Mutawangojipanga screenshot, something like that, or else mabukumo mabdf I believe kuti chimenechi chilimo. So like we did last time, physically tena kambirana zokhuzana ndi ma blood vessels. So tikuona aorta tena kuti it is the largest artery, komanso tikuona vena cava which is the largest vein. So if you can remember very well, tena ngamba kunena kuti aorta being an artery ndikuti kupanga transfer blood from the heart to the rest of the body, and vena cava receiving blood from the rest of the body into the heart. So mukaona mtimawo pansipo pali ma ventricles, right ventricle, left ventricle. The function of ventricles is to help in the pumping of the blood. And mukawuyang'ana mtimawo mupeza onena kuti ku right kwanu ukuoneka kuti uli thicker than ku left. Amafunsa funso limenelo chifukwa chani right ventricle imakhala thicker than the left. Nkhani yake ndiyonena kuti because it is thicker in order to pump blood from the heart to the rest of the body. So it is that thicker for the function of pumping the blood, something like that. That is why we have the heart is one side thick. So it is thicker in order to help in the pumping of the blood from the heart to the rest of the body. So that is the function of the ventricles. Ndemukayang'ana ku ma atriums, atrium ya ku left atrium is the entry of blood, while right atrium it's the right atrium, the entry of blood from the rest of the body into the heart, while the left kumene kuli thick ndi kumene imakhala so the blood ikutulukira. Then we have bicuspid valve, kumbali nayo tili ndi tricuspid valve. Ntchito ya amenewa mavalve amenewa is to prevent the backflow movement of blood, the same as semilunar valves. Nkhani yake ndi yomweyonso yonena kuti preventing the backflow movement of blood. Then on the middle we have septum. The function of septum is to separate the left side of the heart from the right in order to prevent the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Septum imapanga separate left side of the heart and the right side to prevent the mixing of deoxygenated blood with oxygenated blood. Kabena, the blood in the right side and the blood in the left side, which can lead to death. So the function of septum is to separate these two types of blood. Then we also have this structure imene ikuoneka kuti pamwamba apo, this is external structure. Pamwamba apo mutha kuona kuti pakuona kuti pali ka coronary artery, which was not there. So here we have the coronary artery here. This is the coronary artery. So you find out that internal structure coronary artery panalibe. Function yakamene ka coronary artery imakhala nena kuti imapanga transport oxygen and of course nutrients. Oxygen and nutrients. Then we have how the heart works. So the deoxygenated blood from the rest of the body enters the heart through superior and inferior vena cava. The blood accumulates in the right auricle and exerts a downward force. As a result, tricuspid valve opens to let the blood into the right ventricle. Then the right ventricle contracts to pump the blood to the lungs through pulmonary artery. Then the pressure that is created when right ventricle contracts pushes the tricuspid valve upwards. This prevents backflow of blood. Instead, it allows blood to go to the lungs through pulmonary artery. Similarly, the semilunar valve in the pulmonary prevents the backflow of blood. Semilunar valve inayonso ikupanga control kapena ikupanga avoid the backflowing of blood. So wherever we have valves prevents the backflow movement of blood. Then we have in the lungs the alveoli. Oxygen diffuses into the blood. Carbon dioxide diffuses from the blood into the lungs. So the oxygenated blood returns into heart through pulmonary vein into the left auricle. Then the blood accumulates in the left auricle and exerts a downward force, which open the bicuspid valve. The opening of valve allows the blood to flow into the right ventricle. Finally, the right ventricle contracts to pump the blood to the rest of the body through aorta. The contraction of left ventricle pushes the bicuspid valve up so that it gets closed. The bicuspid valve and semilunar valve in the aorta prevent the backflow of the blood. So it's the same. Mavalve wanchirwa preventing backflow movement of the blood. So the heart works like that. Then we have functions of septum to separate right hand side of the heart from the left hand side, to prevent oxygenated blood from mixing with deoxygenated blood, which I've already said. Valves that are found inside the heart, we have semilunar valves. They are found in aorta and pulmonary artery. Then we also have bicuspid valve. So this one is found between left atrium and right atrium. Left atrium and left ventricle. That is bicuspid valve. Then we have tricuspid valve, which is found between right atrium and right ventricle. That is tricuspid valve. So function of valves is the same, preventing backflow movement of blood. Differences between right and left ventricle. Right ventricle pumps blood to the lungs, which is short distance, while left ventricle pumps blood to the rest of the body, long distance. That is why it is thick. Left ventricle have thicker walls than the right ventricle because it pumps blood for a long distance. Why this one is thicker than the other. Then we have function of coronary artery. This one supply oxygen and nutrients, for example glucose and fatty acids, to the heart muscles, which are cardiac muscles. Thank you very much for watching. In the next topic we'll talk about blood cells, white and red blood cells, and platelets as well. Thank you.